Alright, just finished loading into this section of the map. Give me just a moment while I finish setting up here. How's everyone doing today? Hello there, Mr. Brownie. And a nice man. It's been a little while since we worked on the redwoods, so that is what we'll be doing today. I'm pretty good. Just had my coffee a little bit ago and trying to wake up a little bit. I'm usually still in the process when I start the streams. I'm one of those completely not morning people. So today we're today we're partially going to focus on putting some paths up through these rocks here, because as cool as they look, it would be difficult to get around them. So we want at least some paths going up through the rocks. So we'll start with something simple and just carve out some paths through it, and we'll make them look a bit nicer. And there's not much going on at the top of this mountain here, so we're going to change that. Because we're really not that far off from at least the basic layout of the redwoods being done. There'll be plenty more to do aside from that, but we at least want to get these things laid out. So, about like that. Let me see where I would like these paths going. Because I want to put down at least a few of them, because we don't want you to have to walk too far to get around this. I think we'll put one right here. Let me change that path a little. Oh yes, I still have many, many more plants to add. And sometimes I'm just swapping out ones we already have for new ones, but there are definitely more to add as well. We're going to flatten out some of this in just a moment, but first I'm just going to paint this path here. Just ignore the enormous amount of grass that's about to pop up when I do this. It's completely normal. Yes, you can drink from the rivers. I haven't actually set up the functionality on this specific river, but you can. In fact, I think we'll probably do that today because it only takes a moment. One of our programmers made this amazing tool for me to use that allows me to quickly and easily set up their water drinking functions that they've made. I think we'll definitely have to change the shape of the landscape here a little bit to accommodate for a path, but I'm just going to lay out the basic shape of it at first. As for snowy environment builds, I would think so, but I don't know for sure the details about it. But we have a snow biome you can see over here. So I would imagine there'll probably be something specialized for that. Yeah, I actually need to look back. We have a map of where the villages are going to be. So I need to look back and see if there's one that's going to be up here. Because I don't remember where the closest one would be. Basically, a lot of times when I lay out these places, I'll start by making it look nice, and oftentimes nice means not very easily traversable. And then I go back and add paths and things like that. Usually I have to play around on the map a little bit to get a feel for what would be annoying to walk around. Now let's remove the grass. I'm probably just going to remove that from popping up on this material entirely. I pretty much never keep it. The water tool I use for the rivers is Fluid Flux. You can get it on the I was about to say the Unreal Marketplace. Fab. But I've used some others as well before on here, and I'll probably mix up a couple of them, because some are best for certain things, while others... Fluid Flux looks the most realistic, but it's not always the best solution. It's also the most time-consuming one, but it performs well and it looks good, so I like to use it pretty often. It is expensive, but if you also work on Unreal projects, I would definitely recommend it. And Fluid Flux is also what we're using for the ocean. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're saying it right. I do have some I plan on adding soon. Most of the time I'm looking at trees, but there are plenty of plants too that I want to add. Nettles are on the list, and I actually made some recently. They're just not fully finished yet, so I haven't added them. We'll be adding banyan trees, things like that. We already have some fig trees, but I want some a little more traditionally banyan styled. Good morning. We only just started a few minutes ago. And of course, we'll always take suggestions if you have any plants in mind, though, that you'd like to see on the map. Mainly, I'm looking for unique things that you would have seen in prehistoric times. It doesn't necessarily have to be accurate, since this is our own world that's not on Earth. But yeah, I do plan to make a lot of plans for it. It's just, it takes a little time because while we buy some of them, I do also make a lot of them manually, and they're all full geometry, so every leaf is modeled out on every plant and tree in the game, which can be a little time consuming to make sometimes. Ooh, that sounds unpleasant. I'm guessing we don't really have many of those in my area because I don't remember that ever happening to me. I don't know if I've ever seen a nettle in my area in real life. However, my tree addiction continues. I have a new one that's coming in today to expand my collection. I have even more than I've talked about on the streams. There's something about growing a little tiny forest in my backyard that's satisfying. It's peaceful. I say backyard, I basically have like a square. A really small square. I bought a Cryptomeria japonica. It's a Japanese cedar related to redwood trees. And it comes in today. I also have 3 dawn redwoods and a weeping willow. My dawn redwoods are about 4 feet high, 3 or 4 feet. I think my coast redwood and my giant sequoia are also about 3 feet now. Ooh, that would be cool. I always forget those trees exist. Need to look more into that. A lot of times the problem I have is that I'll have these cool ideas for trees and then I can't find textures for bark or leaves or anything for them anywhere. So if it's a tree that grows near where I live, I can just go scan it or take photos myself. But if it's not, it's a lot harder. Oh yes, I'll definitely post it. I try not to clog up the Discord with my plants. I would be there weekly. I get new ones all the time. I still have another one, actually 2, I plan to order today. I have like this forest in mind, so I'm just trying to complete it. What these ferns are. I'm not sure I know what that kind of vegetation is. I'll have to look it up. Not that. Yeah, you're right. Trees are pets. This sounds reasonable. I can't argue with that logic. Where are these ferns? I need them to be gone. Oh, there it is. And that. We don't currently have it in the plans, but that's not saying that it couldn't happen. I think it mostly depends on the success of the game. If we can afford to do that, I'm sure we would. I know I personally am not against it. Palm lily. I don't have them yet, but I'll look into that. I'm not 100% sure what those look like. I just saw this little patch. Oh, there it is. Okay. So before we make more paths, we'll shape up this one Just deciding what the best way to do this is going to be. I don't want to change the shape of everything else around it too much. I'll just smooth it out first. We'll go from there. I think soon I might try and buy a better mic, since I actually use this now. I don't normally stream on my personal channel. Yeah, most of the palms on the map are date palms. We do have a coconut palm that I just made for the game. I actually need to add that today, so I might do that while we're on the stream so everybody can see it. And then I think I showed this on the stream, I don't remember. I made a ginkgo tree for the map the other day. A couple other plants as well. I don't know what the deal is with Steam on Xbox, but I'm really not sure. Once I find out a little bit more about that, I might be able to answer. As far as the technical details of the game go, nothing that we're using here is unsupported on Xbox, except some of the advanced graphics features that I haven't actually shown on the stream. Mainly because most people won't be running those features, they're just there for those that do want the best graphical experience. Yes, there are some aquatic plants so far, and there will be a lot more. We have lily pads right now, and then I have a few more that I'm going to be adding soon. Mainly for the sides of ponds, things like that, but I am working on making us some nice underwater plants. I'm glad you think so. I definitely love working on the game. I would do it all day, every day, if I didn't have to work. The dream is, the game is successful enough that I can just spend my days working on it and quit my normal job. That'd be pretty cool, to say the least. So first I will save what we just did, and then I'll actually start shaping it up. But definitely I want places for aquatics to hide. So I need to look more into which plants exactly to put underwater. Definitely, if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop them in the Discord so I can do a little research about them. You can either DM them to me or put them in the server. I like to keep little lists of plants to look into to add to the game. I want us to have more interesting variety, compared to other games. I agree, and I actually still have some work to do on that to make it look even nicer. So I think what we'll do, I'll flatten this so it's going to look really weird at first. But I can smooth it after that. And that will make it better for actually walking. That is the first I've heard of underwater mushrooms. I didn't know that existed. I'm gonna have to look these up. Making mountainside paths like this is tedious, but I just love how they look when they look like they're carved into the side of a mountain. It's worth it. And I don't want a bunch of impassable mountains and rocks and stuff like that. That's just annoying, so definitely worth it to take the time to do this. Basically, I'll make a bunch of little flat spots and then smooth between them to connect them together. And that'll make it a bit better to walk on instead of being harsh angles like this. That's a good question. I've seen it, but I don't know if it'll be in the update or not. I'm sure that's the goal. I know it's pretty time consuming to model dinosaurs like that. I can't even imagine. I can do trees, but dinosaurs definitely not something I would be good at modeling myself. Starting to get there. See, spots like this would have been completely undoable if you were trying to walk over this. So definitely need to fix that up. Unless you just like skyrimming the sides of mountains. Side note, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to stop playing that game. Every time I think I'm done, I end up back on it. Especially because of that multiplayer mod on PC, it's wonderful. I think I know which spot you're talking about. I'll take a look at it again, so I can make sure to put down more of those. But I think that's at one of our other ponds a little further into the redwoods. Either that or there was a taller mountain that I made. That also has some grassy areas. But there are actually quite a few more plants I want to add to the redwoods, just to give it more variety. Smaller plants. Oh. Well, especially if you start the game at a high difficulty, it can be difficult. Just need to make sure to make these angles easy to walk on. Might have to do some erosion for some of this. And then there's something I want to try out, but I don't know if it's going to be any good. We'll see. I remember you said what country you were from. I'm not sure if I remember it correctly, but I think it may have been Germany. I think. Austria, okay. I don't know why I thought Germany. Maybe someone in one of the last streams was from there. I'm going to close something in the background. There we go. The Epic Launcher takes a lot more RAM than it should. So I figured I'd free up a little bit. I may have a lot of RAM, but there's never really enough. I thought so, but I'm not extremely knowledgeable about many countries, so I didn't want to say it and then just sound ignorant. But I did think German was common over there. I'd definitely like to visit several different places over in that part of the world one day. I've never actually, well, I've left the US a couple of times, but it was just to Mexico, which is pretty close to where I live actually. Well, relatively speaking. I could drive to Mexico in one day, but it would still take like 9 or 10 hours. Making these little turns like this is always difficult. Oh, really? Austria definitely looks cool from what I've seen. But I think probably most places are more interesting than Texas, where I live. It's a lot of flat areas here. Oops. Arkansas actually sounds pretty cool to me. It has much better scenery than Texas. I definitely plan on going there one day. In Colorado. I live in a valley area, so it's always humid here and hot all the time. But you know what? It's probably the reason that my redwood trees do so well here. They love the humidity. I could not even pronounce that. And you are so lucky. I would love to be born in Colorado. I don't think I would have left. Of course, I say that as someone who's never actually been to Colorado, so I'm sure there are parts of it that aren't so great. But the mountains, that's what I'm most interested in. That would be incredible. I think we'll have to do a little bit of erosion here. To get it a bit more like what I had in mind. Ah, yeah, that would be... I guess you probably moved around a lot then. Not so fun. Uh, we we would like it to be. There's a good chance, I would say, that it'll be available. Not in full release, but for early access. For those that want to do that. Because there is quite a bit of gameplay already there. It's just that you normally won't see it in the streams since we're working on the map mainly. But it is there. Yeah, that's why I'm pretty confident that our goal of early access this year is achievable, because we already have a lot of gameplay there, and the majority of the map has at least something on it, even if it's not where I want it yet. So it would be good for exploring still. The map is absolutely massive, so there's a lot that hasn't really been shown much on the streams because it's just a huge area. It's really hard to tell the sense of scale on the streams, but these areas we work on are massive. Definitely looks cool. I'm excited to try it out. I'm also excited for any flying dinosaurs, because I think that'll really bring a lot of life to the game, seeing them flying around in the skies. Of course, right now we already have some dinosaurs that run around and explore, forage, things like that. But I would say definitely if we don't end up making it by this year, I really doubt it would take much longer to get it in early access. Probably have to touch up this area. Yes, there's a lot to do in the game, and I'm definitely excited to spend more time actually playing it in the future. Because you can be certain I will be playing. Well, I have to make sure it's good. Fix these rocks in a minute. But for now, I need to make this better. Still a bit too inclined. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Islander helps out sometimes with. He mainly likes working on villages, things like that. And I'm actually going to be training him soon to do even more, because he would like to do more, but there's just some that he wants to learn first. But otherwise, it is just me. Which really isn't a problem, because it's a pretty complicated setup that I've done for the map so that we can have it run well while being this huge. So I think it would be sometimes a little difficult to work with other people on the map if everything is done a certain way and someone else isn't familiar with it. Yes, I don't know if I have the newest code compiled right now, but if it will run, yes. Usually the reason I don't play it on the streams is it can take a solid 20 minutes or so to get started going, because it has to compile all the shaders for the map if I'm in the editor when I start it. So maybe what I'll do is... whoops. Maybe what I'll do is pre-compile them next time, and then I can play it on the stream, because you'd be waiting quite a while if I did it right now. A lot of what we've been able to afford is just from either people personally paying out of their pockets for assets and things like that, or we also get some donations on Patreon from supporters. So that is definitely helpful. And then there are also plenty of things I've paid for too for the map. Just things that I wanted to add that weren't completely necessary, but I thought would be nice. I'm sure just about everyone has probably put a little bit of their own money into it. There is a list, but I don't know if it's published. Probably have to come back here and try this out later on with the dinosaur. I'm gonna save this, because if it were to crash, I would probably cry. But it also helps that when you're on a team, you're able to share the assets in each person's library. So with so many of us on the team, we have access to a lot of things. You might be right. First coffee. It sounds like you're like me. I've already had an espresso, and then now I'm drinking a Monster. Be healthier than me. Need to remove some of these rocks. I'm gonna put something else right there. Yeah, I'm not sure how much has been released about the list, so I probably won't be able to comment much on it because I don't know what I can reveal. The list is very large, though, in case you were wondering. I can probably say that. If not, then you get that little tidbit of information, and I'll just let somebody yell at me later. I will make that sacrifice. Oh yes, same here. Without caffeine, I'm not sure how I would make it. Okay, the hardest part is done for that path. You know, I haven't actually looked to see how many trees are in the redwoods right now in a while. I'm sure it's an absurd number. There are quite a few people working on the game, but I think everyone, for the most part, has jobs aside from working on the game. But I'm definitely aiming to work on the game full time. I just need to make sure I have enough income while I do it. So I'm going to try to look into ways to raise enough money for me to do that. Okay. I wasn't sure if they published the roster or not. But I still probably won't comment on it much because I'm not sure if the roster that's published is complete or anything, so... I do like Monster. Although I think I like Red Bull more. However, it's a lot more expensive. But yeah, if things go my way, I'll be working on the game full time. Just need to find a way to make enough money outside of work. As long as I can support myself, I don't need to be rich. I just want to work on the game. I have made most of it, yes. There are some smaller parts that Islander did, like some of the village areas. But otherwise, yes, I did do the map myself. Oh, you're right, Red Bull is from Austria. Then I love Austria. I just need to live there. Something tells me Red Bull probably isn't any cheaper there. We generally do one per month. So we should be pretty close to the next one. I think he normally does it at the beginning of the month. We have these monthly updates that we send to him so that he knows what to include in the dev blog. Because with so many people working on so many things, it would be insane if he was actually able to keep up with what everyone was doing all the time. And we'll take a break from landscape sculpting after I get this path wrapped up. Kind of fill out this area up here a little bit. Sorry about that. Got a text and I wanted to see what it was. I will continue working on this map, actually. I do have other projects, but it's mainly just something to do when I need a short break. Because I find it comes out a lot better if you take little breaks where you don't always work on the same map all the time, and maybe switch for 1 or 2 days to any other project. Helps keep things fresh. All the rocks, except for the small ones, do have collision. So that's why I want to make sure that there are nice paths around them, things like that. You are able to climb on them though, so. For a lot of the rocks, I set up custom collisions that make them more traversable so you can climb over them, things like that. And I'm still actively doing that too. That's something I've been focusing on recently with the redwoods. It was a little bit too difficult to walk in some parts. So I'm still actively touching that up. But yes, right now, other than this, I have a game based on a forest from Japan. It's a horror game that I'm working on. And then I sell the plant assets I make, a lot of them, to try and make a little bit of extra money outside of work so I can start moving away towards doing this full time. But I will be working on Echoes of Extinction for a very long time, because we'll have continuous updates, so it's never really going to be done. The map will have changes even after the game comes out. So that the world can change with the story. And I'm not able to say what it is yet, but there is a really big thing that'll be happening with the environment. So that's actually going to take quite a bit of time. So I'm sure I'll be working on this for many years to come, even after release. And of course, I'll also be joining all of you online when it comes out, because I want to play this. I can fly up, but I only have a small portion of the map loaded right now. But I can show you what I have loaded. It will only crash if I try to load too much of the map at once. Because when you're working in the editor like this, the game runs much heavier than it does in a compiled build, because it doesn't have all of the optimizations that we've done until it's in a compiled build. So it is very heavy in the editor. But yes, I can fly up and show you what I've done, or what I've got loaded right now. And we have a little mini-map, so you'll be able to see how much of the map is left outside of that. Oh yes, I really do. I feel like I could just keep putting money in and it would still not be enough. I could always use more power. Definitely my goal is to sell enough of the assets that I make to fund upgrading a little bit more so I can speed up working on the game. Yes, we do. And I actually am making some ferns right now. I was working on them yesterday, in fact. After this saves, I can fly up so you can see what we have loaded. And then we'll pause on the path work for a little bit just to do something different. Unfortunately, you need quite a bit of both to work on the map. There are actually only a couple of us on the team that can load the map right now in the editor. In the compiled build, you can play it on a much wider range of hardware, but while we're in Unreal Engine, I have a 4080 and I definitely would have a much worse time without it. I have 64 gigs of RAM, but I could definitely use more. So this is what I have loaded right now. Just this small area. Well, it's really not small, but this is about 2 or 3 kilometers probably from one side to the other. And this is the whole map. All of this area. So we're just on a small section right now. I do plan on doing the grasslands on one of the streams soon, but there's still a little bit I need to do with the assets I'll be using there. Yeah, the map is huge. In total it's 64 kilometers. So roughly twice the area of Skyrim. Definitely large. So we're going to put some different stuff on these little sides of the mountain. But first, I think I'm gonna... Well, no, I guess we'll do that first, and then I'll fill out some of that area on top of the mountain there. So let's see. I was gonna see if I imported these or not. Something I wanted to use here. Okay, looks like I hadn't yet, so let's grab them. Because I already set these up. Definitely. It would be really cool to me to meet anyone that watches the streams. Excellent. And these will only take a moment to set up, so... He is a friendly snake. That's a good question. I'm actually not sure how big their map is. I think ours is bigger, but I don't know for sure. Oh yes, and I'm looking forward to having more time to actually play the game. I mean, I do play it right now because I have to test it, but let me see. Oh, yeah, that is quite a bit smaller than this map. Sure. So to set this up. Rocks. Oh, I see. Telling you, I need to sleep a little bit more. Second cliff. I do. I haven't played them yet, but I do know about them. Let's see how these look. I don't really know if these will fit this area well, but we will see. That one should work. Now, why is that one wrong? May have to bring that one back in. Looks like the UVs are a little bit messed up. Well, now that really makes me want to play it. I like games with a good, strong story. That is strange that this is happening. Interesting. I guess I'll have to bring this one back in later. But we can still use the other one. Gotta love that bug. Landscape going black. So we'll just finish setting this one up. Now that is how I felt though at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2. That game broke my soul. Ooh, that does draw me in. I love good music. That one's good to go. Oh wait, collisions. I knew I was forgetting something. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Death Stranding though, that one had extremely good music. That's one thing I really liked about Death Stranding. I don't want the collisions to be too inaccurate. Since this is something people will be climbing, I want it to be reasonably accurate. We're almost there, but it's not quite where I need it yet. Yes, I am excited to play GTA 6. I played 5 a ton. That should be good enough for now. I'm probably going to end up having to custom make a collision for this one. I also recently bought Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm excited to play that. I haven't actually started it yet. Just seeing if I can make this fit in the way I want it to. Maybe I'll wait to use it until I fix the other one. Let's use... maybe this. A couple of these. So some roots. Some rocks here. I also bought Final Fantasy 16. I started that one, but I haven't gotten very far yet. I always get distracted and come back to working on the game. Can you blame me, though? Let's make these a little bit bigger. When I say a little bit, I mean a lot. I'd rather have this a little higher up. This will just take a moment while I experiment with it a little bit. Yeah, I think we'll fill in the gaps at the top with some smaller rocks. That sounds like it's going to be terrible. I do not envy you. You know, these still just don't quite fit the way I wanted. So we're going to try a different one. I've got a certain image in my head of how I want this to look. Might use some of these, we'll see. I'm telling you, rocks are just so important. Okay, yeah, we're gonna use some of these desert themed ones and just make them look a little different. Not quite what I was looking for. I have some that are a little bit higher detailed, and that's what I'm trying to find, because that's actually going to perform better for what we want here. But that might work. It'll just take a moment to pick these out. That will work. So we're not going to leave them looking like this. We're actually going to change the materials on them to match the redwood area. Not just for looks, but that's actually an optimization as well. It'll use less memory and perform quite a bit better, because we can have it basically send one draw call to render multiple things at once. You can use fancy tools to scan things, but I can't really afford them because they're insanely expensive for the really good stuff. So I actually just use my phone. You can, if you have a phone specifically that can take raw photos, that would be best. But you don't have to have raw photos. It's just, they come out better. But you'll take a bunch of different pictures from every angle you can capture. Usually the amount of pictures depends on how big the thing is you're scanning. So for an average tree trunk, like I often scan, it'd be somewhere between about 300 to 400 pictures in most cases. The goal is to have the pictures overlap enough that you can use software that can identify where the last picture was taken, and it essentially stitches them together. So I just use my phone to take a bunch of photos, and then they can be stitched together in that software, and it turns it into a 3D model. So that's also how these models were done. These are megascans, which are also photoscanned. Okay, so I think we've found enough of them. We'll use these. But they need some collisions. But I actually publish a lot of my scans for free on Sketchfab. For other people to use. As you see, there's always a lot of setup involved anytime you're using new models like this. You wouldn't necessarily have to do all of this right away, but I believe that it's important to optimize as you go instead of later on. So it does make things more time consuming, but I think it's a better way to do things. Not a dumb question at all. And yes, I can. It's still not complete, but I've done quite a bit of work to it, so it's pretty good. That'll work for now. But yeah, I realize doing photo scans isn't quite for everyone, so I figure when I do them, I want other people to use them, so I just give them away for free most of the time. There are a few I sell, but mainly just the ones that I put the most effort into. Yeah, I really think it's the best way to do things. It's just a bad idea to come back and optimize later on. It's such a time-consuming process to fully optimize something, so it would just be a slog at the end, and it would be hard to tell what you can and can't manage to have in the game if everything like that was done at the end. The one with the island in the middle. Oh, yes, yes. I remember now. And we actually do have a couple of the photo scans I've done in this game, and we'll have more of them too. Go. Just one more. Whoops. For the record, I definitely stayed up too late last night. I started watching Yellow Jackets recently, and I may have stayed up too late watching it. So there's that one. 7. 8. 3. Find them real quick. One. Yeah, there was last week though, where I accidentally slept too long and had to reschedule the stream for an hour later than normal. Just didn't want to get out of bed. And 07, that's the last one. Okay, so I need to see what the material was named that I made for rocks here. Because with nanite, like we use in this game, it performs something called instancing based on materials. So if we use the same materials on a lot of different things with just some small variations, that means basically a lot less effort to render these things, which results in much better performance. This is probably the one we'll use. It's either Cliffs or Cliffs B. One of those. Yeah, we'll use this one. So basically, since these will have the same materials, that means they can all be rendered in just a couple of draw calls instead of a different one for each. Make sure we got them all. Yeah, a lot of times I'll just be sitting there at night like, yeah, I should go to bed, and then I get distracted by working on something. Like the other day, it was, if you remember the ruins that I did in one of the streams, I was working more on them a couple days ago, and I stayed up way too late because I just got in this kind of flow state and I didn't want to stop. Okay, we'll start with this one. But you see, now I have that blocking the sun, and that's unpleasant. So we're going to move these. Yep, that's the one. I love me some giant trees. We definitely want to remove this. Yeah, I was mainly working on the path that leads up to those ruins. I made it pretty intricate, so it took a little while. Go. So these definitely are going to have to shrink, but we're going to use them. Oh no, you're talking to the right person. I also have a love for giant trees. So that was kind of what I was thinking too. Let's see. Not quite what I was going for. think we'll use a different one in that spot. Try this one. Yeah, I think almost every tree I'm growing in my real backyard has the potential to be a giant tree. I love them. Yes, I agree. I've actually been playing Valheim a lot recently. Such a good game. I just realized I've spent almost the entire stream working on this path. It's just, it's such a tedious thing, but I want them to look good. Oh, the Ashlands is terrible. I know your pain. I played it with one of my brothers in the Ashlands, and it was so bad. Thank you. I just don't want anywhere to be neglected. It's a game that I think a lot of people will spend a lot of time on, so I'd like it to look nice. Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty confident we're gonna have a nice wide range of sounds, and I'm happy about it because I'm really big on sound quality and just good sound in general. I'm gonna put something slightly different right there. Then we're going to add some stuff to the top of the mountain before we stop the stream. We're aiming for early access by the end of the year, but we can't say for sure. Just a thought. I think we're going to use this. But I'm glad you think it looks good. I'm very confident that people will like the game. Yeah, I think we're going to use these two. Definitely with a different material, though. Same as these. There we go. But I think I'll make a variation soon that has moss on it, because we need a lot more moss in the redwoods. To make sure it's not sticking up out of the ground. It'll work. Yes, I think the same. If you look at the real pictures of the various redwood forests, there's a lot of moss and ferns and stuff like that. I really want that feeling here. This will take a little messing around to blend it in. There we go. Good. So now we can patch all of these together. Or actually, we'll do that in a moment. I'm going to put this up here first. Oh, I'm so jealous. I want to go there so badly. I hope to one day. Hopefully not too far in the future. Because it looks incredible. Want to make sure it's not going to clip through the ground and cause weird collisions. It should work. We'll use a different one right there. That's what I'm thinking too. It looks like it's so amazing that I have to go. I have to go see it. It's one of those things I don't think I want to go through life without experiencing. Okay, that'll work. So I'm going to stick all of these together. Make sure we got them all. I think we did. So we're going to make it into one actor. Go. And this will make them run even better. Just a little bit, but every little bit counts. I don't know if I've seen that place. It sounds pretty awesome. There. Why is that even loaded? Way over there. Oh, I see. Okay, so what we just did was we turned all of those rocks into essentially just one actor, which will make it render faster and also take a little bit less memory. There we go. Alright, so we're going to put a little bit more up here before we stop for the day. I think I'm going to remove some of these redwoods. Oh yes, I definitely want to look it up. I was just thinking I'm gonna Google it when the stream stops. So I think I'm gonna be replacing a lot of these in the snow with fir trees, things like that. Seems like it would fit better. I wish I could stream all day. Completely would. Luckily I don't work today, but I do have schoolwork, which is just unpleasant. It's going to be a little bit too dense. This is true, and I'm very much looking forward to it. It looks like it was supposed to arrive in the morning. We'll see. I don't know how accurate that was. So I'm going to mix in some fir trees here. Probably going to thin this out a little bit after I paint some. Yeah, it really does. I'm in a bunch of AI related classes right now. And there's quite a bit of reading. I'm going to leave a little clearing right here for reasons. That is just an absolute monster of a tree. I love it. These were some of the most time-consuming leaves I've ever cut out on a tree. It was brutal. Yeah, you're right. As much as I like that tree, let's just remove the rock. Or did it just look like it's in a rock? Oh no, that's just the tree. There is that rock though. Definitely don't want them in the rocks. I'll also put a bunch of ferns, things like that up here. But I usually paint them separately, since I'm going to make that a lot more dense. Almost as dense as me. Almost. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'll clean these up a bit later, but wanted to at least get them put down. There we go. I kind of wanted them to just start going onto the snow, but not far into it. And then I'm mostly going to fill that area with fir trees. Yes. Yeah, how I do it depends on what I'm trying to do. And since I'm doing something more in little clumps like this, I prefer to manually paint them for something like this. So I'd say that's pretty good on the density of the trees, so we're going to put some ferns. And then we'll probably be done for today. We'll see. Let me see how dense this is about to be. Definitely need a little bit more. That's a little better. Still not quite where I want it. Oh yes. I love ferns. They look so right here. I'm probably going to come back and make them even more dense later on. But just something to start with. Just kind of dot them around right here. A little more dense right here. Kind of want to have certain areas where it's more dense and then less in some areas, so that you don't just see endless ferns. Although I do love the ferns. I'm thinking more close to the water makes sense. Oh, I love them, but I know if I paint as many as I want, it's going to end up just looking ridiculous, because I would want so many of them. Oh yes, I love me some ferns. Okay, I'd say we'll probably stop here. But I will go pull up that lake from the last stream. Almost forgot. Somewhere in this region, I believe. Wish I lived near some huge Douglas fir trees. I want to make some, but I've had some trouble getting a hold of materials for them. Textures, I mean. Yes. I haven't added more mangroves yet, but I've tweaked them a little bit. Still have a little bit of work to do to them though. But I've been doing a bunch of bug fixes and optimizations, things like that, so I haven't spent as much time as I'd like making it look nice over there. And let me build virtual textures. Go. Here we are. It's not done yet, of course. Still plenty to do here, like these empty cliff sides. But it's coming along. Got a nice little bridge here now. Not done with it yet because this also could use a little love, but it's a start. Added a bunch of foliage over here that was missing before. Oh, that's not supposed to be there. Thank you. Need to clean up these edges too. But I'm going to do that a little bit differently than usual. Instead of smoothing the landscape right there, I'm going to put some nice embankments and stuff. We've got the pathway here that we worked on the last one, on the last stream. And another one here, but this one I haven't done much with. It's just an initial layout. If we head over this direction, not much has changed over here except for some smoothing to make the landscape transition into the water a little bit better. The leaves are less intense now, a bit closer to what they should look like. Still a bit of work to do over here, but overall not bad. But we will go ahead and call it a day here. I'll be back next week at the same time as far as I know, so I'll try and get that scheduled early this week. Thank you all for dropping in, and I hope to see you all next week.